بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وبعد. A few days ago, while the world was celebrating the win, the victory of Morocco in soccer, many of us may not have realized that a particular scholar from Morocco has just passed away. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. It was actually on the exact same day as the game. So unfortunate circumstances led to it being overshadowed. But the scholar who passed away, his name was Sheikh Abdul Rahman al-Kattani, one of the most important scholars of our time. We talk about Sheikh Yusuf al-Qardawi. We talk about Mufti Rafi Uthmani, all of whom just passed away weeks apart from each other. Just a few days ago, a scholar from Fez, whose name was Abdul Rahman al-Kattani, passed away. And in 2019, I had the opportunity to meet him. And subhanAllah, it was just such an inspirational experience. When he passed away, he was, give or take, according to the Hijri calendar, nearly 107 years old. In the Common Era, about 103 years old. He was born 1919, and obviously Hijri date would be a bit longer. But what makes him so special, among the many qualities that he had, was, just for perspective's sake, if I mention my sanad, my chain of transmission to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I would say, I heard from my teacher, who heard from his teacher, who heard from his teacher, all the way back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We call that a sanad. The average sanad has, for instance, me, and then you have Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In between, you have, give or take, 26, 27 people. His chain of transmission had only 21 people, which means he would connect to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam with such a short chain of transmission that many other people in this entire world did not have. And that was very unique about him. And subhanAllah, when I met him in 2019, that time he had just passed his 100th birthday, 100 years old. And then when I walked inside, I saw the Sheikh. I came to his home and I wanted to just benefit from him and sit in his company, ask him for some ijazah in hadith. And I promise you, I saw his face. Mind you, he's 100 years old. In my mind and in my heart, I began doubting his age. Because I saw his face and I said, this looks like the face of somebody, and I'm not even lying over here, who looks like he's 60 years old. Allah has given him so much youthfulness and so much brightness in his face that you would see him and you would think he was 60, maybe 70 years old. But subhanAllah, he was 100 years old, he was walking around, he was serving tea, he was doing everything very beautifully. Now, there's a lot. I don't want to make this an obituary of such a great sheikh, and I don't want this to be very long. Just the one thing that I want to point out for our benefit about Sheikh Abdul Rahman al-Kattani rahimahullah ta'ala is that one of the qualities that made him so special that very few, if any other scholar in the world had that he had. And now that he's passed, there are very few left, and he's gone to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this quality. And that is, like I mentioned, the short chain, short isnad. Why did he have a very short isnad? It's because of his father, Abdul Hayy al-Kattani, who was also a big scholar of Morocco. When Abdul Rahman al-Kattani, Sheikh Abdul Rahman, was young, he would take him to all of the majalis of hadith. So imagine, Abdul Rahman al-Kattani is a very young child, and then whenever Sheikh Abdul Hayy al-Kattani would meet a scholar, he would say to him, this is my son, please make some dua for him, please give him some ijazah, please give him some ilm. So it was his father's vision that even though my child is very young, 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4, very young, I will take him everywhere I go for ilm, and whenever I meet a scholar, I will ask that scholar to make dua for my child and put him in your chain, in your silsila of barakah. That was the vision. And subhanAllah, who would know that his son would live for over 100 years, and because of that virtue, anybody who met him now was connected in a chain that was the shortest in the world back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it goes on and on and on. But subhanAllah, it's just so heartbreaking. Just 2 weeks ago, we're talking about Mufti Rafi Uthmani. A month ago, we're talking about Sheikh Yusuf al-Qardawi. Just 2 days ago, 3 days ago, we're talking about Sheikh Abdul Rahman al-Kitani. One by one, these scholars are leaving. It's not feasible for us to travel all the way and meet them, but we have this small responsibility, two responsibilities. When these scholars are alive, to learn about them, to learn about their lives. Like subhanAllah, I'll sit down over here because the World Cup is happening. Sometimes I sit with some people and they will give me statistics that are mind-blowing. This person from this country made this many goals. That person, he played for this many years. He was in this club, and then he's from this country. And I said, subhanAllah, your mind is more powerful than like Wikipedia. How are you getting all this information? So our minds are very strong. When we want to learn something, when we want to know something, we can know it backwards. The little responsibility we have is to learn about their lives when they're alive, but when they pass away, to make dua for them. Because if I leave a legacy, whether people are praising me or not is irrelevant. But the dua, the isal thawab that comes back, that's what's beneficial. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our senior scholars. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to learn their legacy. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to follow in their footsteps and get inspiration to make our children also follow in their footsteps. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.